probably the worst kept secret in football history. Bruno Lage is now officially the Wolves manager. I mean, as I'm recording this, he's not officially, but it's pretty much 99.99%. We've had to wait a while because of work permits and all that good stuff. So, but we've known about this for probably a good 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks now. Basically, I'm just going to be giving my views on it, what I think about it, what it will do for a Wolves point of view. So yeah, before you get into it, I'm not fully in depth with all of his tactics and the games he's played and the runs people make. I'm not in depth like that. You don't want to go and see stuff like that. Over on Talking Wolves, have done a really good interview with a journalist basically who knows all about Portuguese football, and it was really good. It was a really good listen, really in depth and stuff like that. Definitely recommend go watching that. And also recently found someone called Euro Expert. He also done a video where he's really in depth talking about the tactics and different kind of systems that he plays, and really in depth as well. I'll leave both of them in the description, so if you want to go watch them, then feel free. So yeah, Bruno Lage, from what Wolves have been saying, it was their first choice, so they got their first choice man. In my opinion, they probably chose the easiest and cheapest option, to be honest. Like, he was out to work for over a year now, and you know the news going to cost nothing, so they thought, yeah, get him in. Which I think if we could have tried harder, could have worked harder, could have interviewed more people, then we could have got an even better manager than we've got now. For example, my dream manager for Wolves right now would probably be Steven Gerrard, and it would take a lot of persuading to get him out of Rangers because he's done so well there so far, and he would want to carry it on for at least another season longer. And also, you're going to have to pay a lot of money to get him out of Rangers right now. So yeah, in my opinion, Wolves kind of went with the cheapest option. But to be fair to them, a lot of Wolves fans were complaining, and I was one of them as well, about how dull it was and how boring and how defensive it was under Nuno. And we wanted an attacking manager, and we've got one now. He's going to be very refreshing, you could say, and I think a guy that also focuses a lot on youth as well. So some of our younger players like Gibbs White, like Otazawi, even like Corbiano and Hoover, Aït-Nouri could really blossom from this. I've heard a lot that he's like just a really nice guy, really just helps players man to man. He's just a really nice person and got a lot of respect around Benfica and the youth levels of Portuguese football, which is really good. And if you just look at some of the players that have come out of the Benfica academy over the last 10 years or so, then you'll know that a lot of people quite respected quite a lot. João Cancelo, Bernardo Silva, I think even Fabio Silva. I think one of the, I can't remember exactly, but I think one of the his assistant manager or something worked with him for 4 years or something, and Fabio speaks really highly about him, which could also be very important for Fabio's growth and development as well. Could really help him a lot. And we just got to hope now that I've read a lot about Bruno Lage and his system and all that good stuff, and I'll be honest, when I first heard the news that Lage was an option and was very likely to be in the manager, I was a bit iffy. I'm not too sure about that, but I've done my research. I watched a lot of his games, like that 10-0 win against, I can't remember who he was, but the one 10-0 against someone. I've done a bit of research, watched some of the games, and you know what? I've grown to it a lot more recently. I've grown to it a lot more, and you know, it's what we want. It's just a clean slate, a breath of fresh air, which I think is what we needed. And I think all we need now is for Fosun and the board just to back him, give him whatever he needs. And I know it's been a struggle with the COVID, and you know, we don't have an enormous wage bill or a budget, but selling players like Rafa Mir, Catrone, Vinagre, all these side players who we could probably get 30-35 million for all of them, and bringing in defenders, midfielders, and probably even another forward, and maybe even a goalkeeper if Rui leaves. Then I think we just need to back him now, you know, give him what he needs. But it's interesting, it's really interesting. Like, I can't wait for like the pre-season and seeing the system he plays. And he plays this, what I've seen, he plays a 4-4-2 with not like Brexit, like Sean Dyche 4-4-2. It's more free-flowing, and one of the wingers comes in and plays more centrally, got a free roam, and then kind of like, I don't know how else to explain, but the João Felix role as like that second striker that kind of floats around as well, who plays off the other striker. and it's going to be really interesting to see who plays where, what positions, and it's going to be really interesting to see because over the past 4 years it's just been rigid, solid. You stay in your position, you stay in your position. We defend. Then if it's 0-0 at half time, then we can move forward a little bit, but still stay in your position, but move forward just a little bit. And it's going to be really interesting to see where it's just a bit more free flowing. It's just a bit more high pressured, high tempoed. Because I remember there was a stat as well. Well, first of all, the stat was that I think pretty much every time we watched Wolves, it was going to be 0-0. 99% of the time, it was going to be 0-0 at half time because we were just so defensive and just so scared to concede goals. Probably going to take a while. Like, it's not going to click straight like that first game of the season against Burnley. We're winning 5-0. It's not going to it's definitely not going to be like that. It's probably going to take a couple of games for them to warm into it because think about it. Some of the players that we've got now they've been so rigid in this five at the back. They've been so rigid in the way they play for the past 4 years, and now they're all of a sudden okay. You're let off the leash now. You can do all these other things. So it's going to take a while for it to all glue together. It's going to take a while for some of these players like Cody, Bolly, all these players which Sace, Dendoncker, Neves. It's going to take a while for them to get used to it because it's so kind of alien to them, you could say, in a Wolves shirt, that they haven't had this much freedom in a way. It could be really big for someone like Gibbs White. As you know, on this channel, it's the Gibbs White fan club, this channel, I swear to God. But I think this could be really interesting, and Gibbs White could really flourish in a system like this because this is what he's about. Like, a lot of people saying that he could play that a wide right or wide left role, and he has that free roam to move more centrally and move out wide again. But to be fair, I think he could even work in that João Felix role where just off the striker. So I remember a game. I think it was a pre-season friendly against Newcastle, I think it was, and it was when we went to Asia and we won the Asian trophy. Big up. I think we won 4-0 and I think it was Jota who was playing the actual striker, and then it was Gibbs White who was just playing off him, kind of thing. And we won 4-0, and he definitely scored a goal, and I think he might have set up one as well. And I know it's completely different in a pre-season friendly against Newcastle to in a league game when we're playing prime Pep Guardiola Man City. I know it's completely different, but he really flourished in that role, and I remember he played really well in that game. To be fair, I think he could play either of them roles. I think he could do really well. I think just giving someone like Gibbs White a free role like that, and centrally as well, because the frustration we all had with Gibbs White is Nuno was playing him out wide as a winger. The same with Vitinha every now and then. He was playing them as wingers where they're not wingers. They don't have pace like a Neto or an Adama. They haven't got pace like that, so they need to play more centrally, give them the ball, let them drive, run at players. And I think Gibbs White could really flourish in this system. People like Aït-Nouri and Samaida as well as the wing backs. Neto and Adama as well could be lethal. And Jimenez, hopefully he comes back, the player he is, could be banging the goals in it, and in an attacking system as well. Like in how defensive he was, and Jimenez was scoring 20 goals a season. Imagine him in an attacking system. He could score bags of goals. But also someone like Fabio as well could be, like I mentioned before, I think one of his backroom staff worked with him for a couple of years. I don't know if he was for Porto or for Portugal, but he speaks really highly about him and really matured him, he says. So that could be really vital for Fabio's development. And I was impressed with him last season. He was doing well. It was really hard for him coming into a team like that and playing every single game at 18. It was difficult for him, but you know what? He done well. 4 goals, 4 assists. Fair play, because he wasn't meant to play that much, and you could see he done well. He done the best he could. As always, let me know what you think about Bruno Lage, Lage. There's a lot of people calling him different names. I'm going to call him Lage because it sounds cool and it sounds the best way, but I don't know, could be wrong. Yeah, let me know your thoughts as always, and if you're Wolves fans out there, just stick by him, man, because you've never watched him. It's not his fault that Nuno's been sacked. It's not his fault all of this stuff's been going on behind the scenes. It's not his fault. He's just come into a job, and he's got nothing to do with all this. So just back him, and just give him time. Please give him time. Yeah, let me know your thoughts as always in the comments down below. Make sure you like and subscribe as always. Turn notifications on. Really appreciate all the support recently. means a lot to me. Twitter, Instagram are down below as well, so go follow them. Really appreciate it. As always, like I said, make sure you go check out their videos where they're more in-depth about the whole Bruno Lage. Yeah, definitely recommend them, so go check them out. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Calls me day and night. I'm sorry, girl, you just don't make me feel right. I never meant to make you cry, you were right. Just leave me be, I'm not gonna